Hey, good afternoon, loungers. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. Decided to shoot just another quick, fun little video, and it's going to be another one-shot review. I had a lot of fun doing the first one, and I think it's a little series I'm going to want to continue. And the book I'm going to review today is a book from 1992 from Dark Horse Comics. It's a book that's written by, Randy Stradley, and art by Arthur Adams, and I think part of the story concept is also by Arthur Adams. So, classic artists on this. And the book we're reviewing today is the Godzilla Color Special. And in case you couldn't figure it out by the title, 40 color pages. They're just letting you know twice it's in color, in case you had any doubt. But let's get going into the review. So, this book, it's just, like I said, a little 40-page one-shot. And the surprising thing about this, I found this out in the wild. And like, who doesn't like Godzilla? He's the king of monsters. My kid loves Godzilla. I like Godzilla. I'm more of a Kong person, though. I gotta tell you. Kong, king of Kong of Skull Island. He's, King Kong's always been my favorite. Probably always will be. But Godzilla, there's nothing wrong with Godzilla. So, I picked this up, and it was a fun little read. It actually reads like a teleplay, kind of like a movie. So you read it, and the whole time, Arthur Adams' art throughout, it just makes it feel kind of like you're watching a movie, although you're reading a comic book. The story's written well. It hits all its beats and goes through and fast like a movie. You're going to get what you want. You get the introduction, the splash pages that tell you what's happening to set up the story. You're going to get your giant monster battle. Kind of a monster, kind of not that he fights. But this book opens up, and there's a good black and white page right at the beginning with Godzilla there for you. Just great art. And you see there's a helicopter taking off from two battleships, right? And you find out that they're off to save an island, and this group of guys and girls women is known as G-Force. So at first you're like, oh, G-Force, are they working with Godzilla? Are they working against Godzilla? And it doesn't take long until you find out that they are a task force that is put together to save people from the threat of Godzilla. So, much like Godzilla, the first film, where Godzilla is this omnipresent threat, he's the same in this book. So, they're heading to this island where there's this group of people that have moved there to get away from all technology. And they live there peacefully and quietly. And so the task force lands. They're a little bit ahead of Godzilla. Godzilla rises out of the water and he's on the way. They've been tracking him. So they arrive to the island, and while they're trying to warn the locals, you can see that the two battleships have engaged Godzilla, and they're trying to hold them off to buy the people time to evacuate. So you got the task force that's made up of a bunch of names that I would say, but I don't want to be disrespectful and mispronounce them. So the names aren't important. You'll know them if you read it. But the leader of the island calls everyone together in a town hall situation and says, look, we're not going to leave our homeland, even though you guys want us to. We have a way to defend ourselves. The task force, the G-Force, lets them know that they don't really believe in that. The people of the island aren't going to move regardless. So there's a little bit of frustration between the two groups. The G-Force thinks that they're risking their lives for no reason to save a bunch of people that aren't thankful for them coming out and willing to put themselves at risk to get them to safety. And on the flip side of that, the people of the island think that the G-Force is forcing themselves onto them. They didn't ask for help. They say they have a way to defend themselves. And they need G-Force to be respectful enough to let them do this. And not try to force salvation down their throat. So it's a fun setup. Not wholly original, of course, but it doesn't need to be. It's telling a fun little story. And so the task force that's holding off Godzilla, the two battleships, get destroyed by Godzilla, just utterly annihilated. So the time that they bought the townsfolk is over. Godzilla has weakened the things, and they got a couple small crews that escaped the tankers and the battleships. And then Godzilla's on his way toward the island. Alright, so now the people can see Godzilla's coming, and they have to worry about it. And you just get some great pages here from Arthur Adams. Godzilla approaching the island. And the people are running. Now, a group of the G-Force is carrying this big, large bazooka-like thing. And they call it the dart gun. What it is it's set up for them to shoot Godzilla and get samples of his tissue, his nerves, his blood, because they haven't been able to do that yet. They haven't been able to penetrate the scales to get that. So they have a plan. As well as saving the people of the island, they want to get tissue samples, nerve samples, blood samples from Godzilla. All right, so as they're running, they get introduced to something that the island people have always kept to themselves. All right, so one guy in the G-Force, I believe his name is pronounced Kogenta. Okay, and Kogenta, he's a scientist. He believes in the scientific method, but he's also not close to, there's things out there that you just can't understand, right? It's going to be. So they come across, thanks to the leader of the island, and I am forgetting her name for some reason. I am so sorry. But let me flip back. Okay. Okimuni. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. So Okimuni is the head priestess of the island, and she leads them to this giant statue that's 800 years old. And the thing with this statue is that there's a living demon inside the statue. All right, and she tells the story of the statue and how it came to rest on the island. There was a monk warrior that arrived while this giant demon was just wreaking havoc on the island, and he tricked the demon into eating him and consuming him. But when he did that, the monk engaged him in battle inside that form. So they fought each other to a standstill for 800 years inside this giant statue. Because once he engaged the demon, the statue turned to stone and earth made from the island, and he's been in that position ever since. And Okimuni's plan is to sacrifice herself and take the monk's place and let the demon run free on the island for a bit to combat Godzilla and save the people of the island. So she leads her people into the caves. G-Force is getting on board. They don't really have any options now. Godzilla's there and they got to combat him. So they can't fight everyone on the island. All they can do is get them to the closest safe haven that they can get them to. So Godzilla's approaching, and as you could tell from the very start, Godzilla is towering. And over there in the panel, you can see just how small the demon is. He's a tiny little statue, about up to Godzilla's knee. So, but he's powerful. I know. Hi, kitty cat. And so she's about to act while they're distracted and sacrifice herself. But what happens is they fire the dart at Godzilla. They fire the dart at Godzilla, and they shoot him between the toes. They figure that's going to be the softest place. And they're actually getting the samples they need. But Godzilla thunders. It starts stomping the ground. And what happens is all these boulders fall. Okamuni gets hurt. She's at the base of the demon statue, and they have to remove her and get her to safety. And now there's no one to take to place the monk warrior inside the statue. And that's where another scientist, Cogenta comes into place. And Cogenta runs over and he yells out to the monk, "I'll release you. Trade your place for mine. Set your spirit free, and I'll reside inside the statue, and I'll do eternal battle with the demon." And the trade is taking place. They don't think it's working, and Godzilla just stomps down on where Cogenta's body was. So even if he wanted, there's no place for him to come back. His body is in the footprint of Godzilla somewhere, so he's completely obliterated. But he animates the demon, and the battle between Godzilla and the demon ensues. And the demon's using its warhammer. It's hitting Godzilla with it, not to any effect except to annoy Godzilla. Godzilla uses his atomic breath, blasts the demon, completely renders him asunder. But the two spirits inside just can keep reforming the demon from the rock and the earth of the island. So they reform bigger. And they're big enough to give Godzilla a decent battle. And they're not trying so much to beat Godzilla as to trick Godzilla. So they're leading him off the island, back towards the ocean. And in the stages, they get him there. They lead him to the edge of a cliff, and they trick Godzilla to tackle him off the cliff back into the water. Once in the water, Godzilla's consumed with just beating the threat that's in front of him. He wants the victory. And Cogenta turns the statue back into stone, sinks it. Godzilla's looking, can't find him, and he thinks he beat him. Until finally Godzilla, happy with victory, retreats away and leaves the island in peace. So everyone on the island is going to be safe thanks to Cogenta's sacrifice from G-Force. And just a great panel right there of the two fighting. As you can see, he was able to reform and build quite big. Not as big as Godzilla, but he got there. And so Godzilla gets the W in Godzilla's primeval mind, and retreats back off in the ocean after his victory. So it ends with Okimuni saying, "Kogenta brought peace to my people, but now he'll never know peace. He's locked in eternal combat with the demon." And that wraps up the story. This was a lot of fun. Again, this book was from 1992. And just great art by Arthur Adams. Just a lot of fun. And there was, I believe, another special he did, which I have, which is Creature from the Black Lagoon, another continuation of a story. So let me know if you guys like this review of Godzilla, the color special. I just thought it was fun. It was a pickup I got in the wild. From 1992. It was in great shape and I couldn't resist it. And if you would like to hear a review on another Arthur Adams project with that limited edition comic, A Creature of the Black Lagoon, let me know. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. And if you want to continue to see these little short one-shot reviews, let me know. And until next time, Loungers, keep it casual, and everybody stay safe. We'll catch you next time.